right, it's a Friday time for our weekly feature, Tech Base. They've been used for delivering pizzas. But what about assessing the scene of a car crash? We're talking about drones. Old Mutual's iWYZE, underwritten by Old Mutual Insure, says it will soon become the first South African insurer to deploy drones and use drone technology. To discuss, we're joined by Christelle Colman, insurance expert with Old Mutual Insure. Thank you for joining us, Christelle. Exactly how will you be using drones? Let's start there.
Well, I think the most important, use for the drones would be a post an accident or a loss to get surveillance footage of what took place at that incident. So whether it is a flood, a fire, or a major accident, using the drone technology, we'll be able to get into that environment as quickly as possible. Gather that information, that footage, and bring it back to the office to assess and settle claims much faster, possibly, than we could in the past.
Is this because everybody lies, or a lot of people do? There's a lot of fraud with people lying about what happened.
No, I don't think that's the main driver behind adopting drone technology in our environment. It really is about being able to get more accurate information much faster and being able to assess losses on a much bigger scale in a much shorter space of time. That really was driving the decision around adopting drone technology. And you must understand, insurance companies, and specifically Old Mutual Insure, are always looking for ways to improve our efficiencies to make sure that we can, drive costs down. Any cost saving is passed on to the insurance policyholder at some point in time in the future. And we want to improve our claims service and make sure that we settle our claims as fast as we can and keep our clients happy so that we retain those clients. So there's many applications for the drone technology. It's not just post-loss. We can use the drones to do surveillance before a loss. So if you think about an agri-risk, for instance, to make sure that we understand what our risk exposure is. If we look at fire risk exposure, so that we can survey bigger pieces of ground, of area, that we can survey that and see what our risk exposures are on that specific area and make sure that clients are insured correctly.
Okay, so sure, it's before and after. Can I ask you to make it really practical with an example? Gavin Watson, maybe very high profile in an accident this week. If you had known he was an Old Mutual client, could you have sent a drone actually to hover above that accident scene? How would it work?
Well, absolutely. So the drones use cameras to survey a specific accident or a flood or a fire, and that information is then used in accident reconstruction technology, so that we can understand exactly how that accident transpired. So that information is downloaded into the accident reconstruction application, and we can use that information to understand what transpired during that specific accident. I think another example of what happened recently was the fires in St. Francis Bay. We would be able to get a drone into that area to understand exactly how far the fire did go, how big the actual claim is, and to make sure that we understand which of those properties were insured with Old Mutual Insure, iWYZE, and be a lot more proactive in the way that we settle our claims. If we think about, sorry, yes?
I was going to say, could it? I mean, thinking of an accident scene, maybe St. Francis Bay would have been okay, but if you were hovering above police doing their work, could that annoy people on the scene? Sometimes there's been a fatal accident. There could be family members on the scene. How do you deal with that sort of thing?
No. We would not. Definitely not. Transgress any laws of the road, or if the accident scene is still under investigation by the police, we wouldn't be sending in a drone in at that point in time. It really it would be when it's allowed for us to take surveillance footage and use that to the benefit of doing the accident reconstruction and settling the claim as a result.
All right. So when will your drones be in the air, basically?
Well, it's very complex to get a qualified a drone pilot. It's been a process of about 2 years leading up to this point in time, and we're waiting for the pilot's license to be to be issued as we speak tonight. It's a highly regulated environment, and there's only 47 commercial drone pilot licenses that have been issued to businesses in South Africa. And as we said, Old Mutual iWYZE is the first company to get a qualified pilot. So it's a work in progress. We see this as an opportunity to create new job opportunities. We really would like to see a drone pilot in all parts of South Africa, that we can react quite quickly following a big fire, a flood, or if there's been a major accident, so that we can service our clients more effectively in that space. But it's a work in progress. It's the fourth industrial revolution that's arrived in the insurance industry. And as we go along, we will understand and develop our services around using the drone technology more effectively. And you can think about the industries that sit on the side of the insurance industry, like the security industry, for instance, the applications and working and collaborating with the security industry to see how we can use this technology to further enhance the safety of our clients, and make sure that things are sorted out as quickly as possible if they are faced with a large loss.
So the company gets a drone license, but then you also need a pilot with all the valid certification. Is that correct? It's personal and also company-wise.
Absolutely. So we've actually trained one of our own staff members. He's gone through all the licensing hoops. It's quite an intensive license that you have to obtain. It's similar to a private pilot's license, the actual exam that they go through. And it's because our drone is a drone that goes out of sight. It can go as far as 1 kilometer away from the pilot. So it's technically very complex. It's not an easy license to get. So we will, within the next couple of weeks, have a qualified drone pilot with his license working for Old Mutual Insure iWYZE, and we will start to unpack and understand how we can apply his skill and knowledge in the bigger business.
Final question. I mean, we're showing visuals there of a drone taking visuals, and you can basically see the daffodils in somebody's garden in their front yard. So some people are very worried about an invasion of privacy. Will that always be respected? Should we worry about drones? Given where it's all going, should we welcome them?
I definitely. I mean, I can only speak on behalf of Old Mutual Insure iWYZE, and we would never send a drone into someone's property without the express agreement that we do that. And it's another good example of how we're going to use it. If we've seen a major hailstorm in Gauteng, for instance, at the moment we have to send one person out or a number of people to go into everyone's property, get onto the roof, count the number of tiles that have been damaged during the hailstorm. Now we will be able to use one drone to survey a number of risks at the same time without it being as intrusive of actually having someone in your property. Take that footage back to the office, assess the damage, and settle the claims much faster. So if you talk about it's something being intrusive in someone's private property, I think with this express agreement from our policyholders, this will be far less intrusive and far more accurate, and an opportunity for us to provide much better service.
And will jobs be lost then, the people who have to go in, or are there opportunities here?
I believe there are opportunities. You have to adapt to new technology, and specifically in our space, we are definitely looking at training more individuals to become something that's very specialized. Imagine 20 years ago saying that your job is a drone pilot for an insurance company. So we definitely are going to be looking for job creation opportunities, train more people, and prepare our company for the future. So we see this more as a positive than a negative.
All right, thank you very much. That was Christelle Colman from Old Mutual Insure, saying they are the first company to get that drone license, just waiting for the final paperwork around a pilot's license. We'll see when those drones get up in the air.